at the point I actually stopped DJing, I just wanted to take a break.
Be sure to tune in for the second episode of the Revealed podcast with a very, very special guest, the label man, the boss man, Robert Van de Korper, better known as Hardwell. Well, I gotta say that I'm pretty honored and excited to be here for the second episode of Together We Go All Out. In the new Revealed studios. And on top of it, I am talking to the guy, the one and only, the guy who needs no introduction, but we'll give him some facts anyways before we go into it. We got the guy who's been active since 2002. Started when he was 14, first record deal. In 2010, started his own imprint, Revealed Recordings. 2 documentaries. 2 times number 1 DJ in the world. 2013, 2014, always number 1 in our hearts though. And in 2018, made a decision to quit touring, take a break. I'm super happy to be here to talk to you, the brother, Hardwell.
What's up, man?
What's up, man? Super cool to be doing this in the new offices, man. It's beautiful.
Right?
Congratulations.
Great,
Thank
you.
Sick.
Really happy. New step forward in the future of Revealed.
Man, I took the tour before and just the new studios are amazing.
Right?
Yeah, it's just like, it feels like a real record label. Like
I'm honestly really happy that we all did this, and it's a really, a great step forward into the future.
The team is amazing. It looks absolutely incredible, and everybody just seems like a happy and fun place to come work and stuff. So,
yeah,
congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Before we go into deep stuff or and factual stuff, just from man to man, how you doing right now? You know what I mean? How is everything going since the break, since the big decision?
I think I've never been better than I am right now, just in a personal way, over the last year, I spent a lot of time just enjoying life, in general, with family and friends. And I know this sounds so official, because that was what the statement said. I'm taking time off to spend.
Yeah, for sure.
But I discovered myself again, how a regular life is, doing my own grocery shopping, spending time with my mom and dad, seeing my friends on their birthday. Normally I was just touring and
regular important stuff that you don't necessarily get to do.
Yeah, and for over the last decade, I never had a regular life. So I'm really happy that I'm living a normal life now. We're with Reveal, as you mentioned. We just bought an office, a proper office, and I'm here
to take care of it. Hands
to take
on,
care of
hands
me.
on,
I'm here. I'm here to guide the guys. I'm here, behind the scene stuff. I'm still working a lot. I got asked the question a lot. So, oh wow, you're on a sabbatical, and so what you're doing? How does your life look right now? And people think I quit working.
They couldn't be more wrong. Yeah.
Sure. I quit touring in the first place, and I'm on a weekly base. I'm still 5 days a week in the studio, checking music, working on music. I'm here at the office once a week, once in the 2 weeks. Just sometimes just to hang out, and sometimes official stuff, meetings.
And I'm sure doing stuff like that makes you rediscover yourself, not just personally, but even musically too. I'm sure having taken a sabbatical, you have more time to be free, things are less rushed. Yeah, you get to explore more. I'm sure that your discovery, it's a rediscovery in many different facets of your life.
In a lot of different ways. I'm discovering myself in a lot of new ways. I feel like the kid Robert, myself. When I was a kid in my bedroom studio in my parents' house, I was just making music. There was no deadline. I was never in the studio to make a hit record. I was just making music that came from my heart, that I really liked. For my whole career, I was always making the music that was really close to me, the music that I wanted to hear on a festival or in a club. And because of all the deadlines, all the festivals, at a certain point, I was touring that much that I was only making music that worked in my set as a DJ.
Yeah, that was the focus, right? That had to be the focus.
Exactly. Yeah. I made the music that really worked in my DJ sets, and now I'm making music that I really like. and I'm not doing any DJ shows. So
in a variety of different styles, by the way.
Yeah,
You know,
like
that's what's cool. Yeah.
in like a lot of different styles, and it takes a lot of time though. But now we're a year later, and I've never been as happy as I am right now in the studio. Like I really enjoy the music that I'm making, and I don't know, it feels closer to who I really am.
More personal.
More personal. Like I'm
Getting
really,
back in touch with yourself.
That's it. Yeah, that's basically it.
I have a question, random question. Since you were talking about like how you felt when you were a kid, besides being a DJ, was there like, did you want to like do something else? Did you want to like be a police officer or anything? Like when you were a kid and your parents would ask you like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like what did you have any other aspirations when you were that young?
No, in the very first beginning, I said dentist, but I never know why I actually said that. No, like on the other hand, like I really like to do like a lot of visual stuff, like graphic designing, and yeah, we did a lot of that actually. Well, I was like a big part of the redesigning of the whole revealed artwork and myself with the team, and yeah, I like that. You know, being more involved and focus on that.
Well, it's your baby because I don't like. I know this story. I don't know if a lot of people know this story, but I like when you told me the story that, Revealed was basically born out of a need.
Yeah.
Like as in you were making the music that you liked, that you loved, like you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
That you didn't have a deadline. You didn't have, and you just wanted to hear that stuff.
Yeah.
But nobody was really signing that stuff. Like you would send that to a bunch of different people and it's like your records weren't getting signed. And then you were like, man, screw this. I got to do it myself.
Yeah.
And go figure, Revealed has become one of the biggest independent dance music labels in the world.
Yeah, it was so weird, before and still till this day. Now I got like the stamp of big room house or whatever it is, but I always played progressive house, electro house. I made all kinds of genres and I always try to combine as much as I can. I don't want to focus myself on one specific genre. I just believe in really good music, and music in especially for me as a DJ, I love dance music. I love everything. I love dubstep, I love deep house, I love hardstyle, everything. And to use different kind of genres, that's always what I was experimenting with. And before Revealed started, there was no label that open-minded to, in the beginning. Now, like if we take the current big room house sound, 10 years ago, people called me trance. That was trance music.
That's true.
It was trance music.
Yeah, you're right.
There were big chords, a big breakdown, and a heavy drop, which is trance music but slower. That's basically how they described me back then. And I can tell by the awards that I won throughout the year, from like best breakthrough artist to best electro house DJ, best pop artist, best electro house, progressive, big room. Like there's no...
There was no genre.
There was no genre.
They didn't know where to put you.
Yeah.
But so it shows, and at the end of the day, it's like, I feel you because dance music is dance music. Reggaeton to me is dance music. Dance music to me is anything you can dance to.
Exactly. That's basically it.
And it shows in, it shows in your production, it shows in your evolution through the years. And speaking of the birth of Revealed, how did like the first release come about? Like what did you say, okay, this is the one I'm putting out on my own. Like I have to do this by myself.
Well, there was a lot of music laying around. You know what? I'm going to add another answer to your question.
Please do.
The name Reveal was very simple. It came about, I was on vacation, I was on the beach, a little drunk with a couple of friends.
As usual.
It happened often. And we were standing there, and as you mentioned, no record label was interested in my music. And one of my friends said, yo, it's time to reveal the world who Hardwell is. And that was the quote, like, reveal. It's time getting revealed. Yeah, that's how the name Revealed came about. And, well, yeah, at that point, I was just working on different kind of stuff. And I had one record laying around with my friend Dan. Back then, Funkadelic, now known as Danik.
Danik, yeah.
And that was actually it started as a bootleg of a Defected song, Bad Habit. I don't know if you know.
I got a bad habit, baby.
Yeah.
Baby, it's you. Of course, I know my Defected.
Yeah. No, that was actually the bootleg, and then we released it as the first release on Revealed, and from that point on, there was at that point there was a label bringing out that new generation dance music. That's what I call it, because like when
Revealed. That's how you saw Revealed.
How I saw Revealed, like I wanted to focus on the new guys, help the new guys, and work on new music. It was not like a record label that needed that Hardwell needed. Like, you know, it was not like it is Hardwell's imprint. Like, it's really weird to talk in third person, by the way, but
no, it's
like,
fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's like I wanted to create a record label as a proper record label. Like back then, some of the DJs, they had their own record label, but that was for their own releases. And I wanted to focus on like other guys I believed in. That's why the first release was with Danik already.
And how did you do that? Because like to me, starting a record label, if you're gonna do it properly, it's not like just, oh, this is a dope track, I'm gonna put it out myself. Like, how did you go about, like, you know, we're talking about legal, we're talking about creative, we're talking about like a bunch of different departments to run a record label. Like, where did you start? How did you say, you know, who did you go to? Like, what was the process in saying, okay, cool, I have this idea, well, bring every facet to life? Because we just talk about the music, but at the end of the day, that whole business, exactly, the whole back end is not what people see. How did you go about learning and getting interested in that? And who did you turn to? You know, who gave you feedback? Who, you know, how did you get that inspiration, the business inspiration?
Well, the business inspiration for me started really young. As you mentioned in the introduction, I was 14 years old when I signed my first record deal. That was to a record company in Holland called DigiDance. And since I was 14 years old, I walked around at the record company. I wasn't even working there. I was just walking around. At some point, I had my own studio space there. But I was attending to meetings as well as a kid, because I wanted to know the ins and the outside.
Just like sitting in the corner.
Yeah, sitting in the corner and just listening to like how the business was working. And then at that point, I started Revealed with Matthijs, and he was like already working at DigiDance back then, doing legal stuff and royalties and like and licensing. And so yeah, he really did like the business side at the beginning of Revealed, and I was just like completely doing the creative side, from artwork to even the Revealed logo to mastering the tracks, A&Ring the tracks, and I've been DJing for a long time, so if you look at the releases of the first Revealed releases on Revealed, they were all like close friends to me, and they just kept sending me music. And when at a certain point that Revealed became bigger, and people, like a lot of young kids were like focusing on that before was called big room, like the progressive, the harder dance music style. Yeah. And finally in the world there was an imprint. Like there was like
that could release that could push
exactly
that was looking for that.
Looking for that. And then all of a sudden my DJ career took more off, and that's like when Revealed really showed like, yo, this is an imprint that's actually believing in the new focus of dance music, like the new hype. This is gonna be. We were all there before something like big even started.
Yeah. Before even the term EDM, I believe. Before the term EDM, I believe. Because to me, that's something that's still to this day, people don't understand how complicated it is as an artist to even understand your rights. Understand your publishing rights, understand your neighboring rights.
It's really difficult.
It's very, very hard to understand how to get paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To understand your revenue streams. So do you really think that, because you were in those meetings, that's how you gained an interest and that's how you understood very young and you were able to give that knowledge to the guys, to the team to execute while you were on tour? Or is that something you also had to take care of yourself? Like really?
No, I had to really take care of that myself as well. And I started at the Rock Academy after high school, and then I learned a lot there. Like, as you said, like the business side of music. How does it work? How does a contract work? And even I had like the crazy story about, the first manager that actually kind of used me as a milk cow.
Yeah, everybody has that one. The first one.
Yeah, that was kind of hard, but you learn, it's like, that's life. That's the progress of life. And
makes you better.
Makes you way better. But that was like a really big inspiration for me, that with Revealed, I wanted to be more transparent for the scene, for the young kids. Like, I'm not here with Revealed to make a lot of money out of a young kid. No, I generally want to help like a lot of people. And just, I'm focusing on the music. And the music is more important for me than like generating a lot of money or streams.
Yeah, it's definitely never meant to be exploitive.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, being part of the label myself for many years, I could see the evolution, and it was never meant to be exploited. Always meant to help the artist. Absolutely.
Good music. I always believe in good music, and that's like the business card of this record company. It's not a record company that, well, I think you can tell. No, we never released like shitty music just because it had. With shitty music, I mean like we never released a track that will work really commercial, but honestly, we didn't like. You know, every release we did was like we believed in it.
Genuinely liked the record.
Yeah.
So, do you still remember how, when, where, what song it was? What was the first time you heard like one of your songs played on the radio? Like, were you in your car? You at home? Did someone call you and like, Robert, you're on the radio?
Exactly. And this
is that what happened?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe the diehard fans know this story, but coming back to my age, by the age of 14, I already had the name Hardwell. I was releasing stuff on my website for free, MP3 files. There was no streaming service back then, no SoundCloud, no YouTube, nothing. And I uploaded my tracks myself on my website as MP3. And well, they were gaining like a lot of downloads. Like for a young guy in high school.
Yeah, it was like impressive that...
Like it went up to like 1,000, 3,000, 4,000. So like, yeah, it worked. And they were played out in some of the clubs and that was really cool. And then I was sleeping. I was 14 years old. I think it was like 11 p.m. or so. And my dad woke me up and they played one of my songs on the national Dutch radio, on the biggest radio station, 538. Ooh. And with the call, not playing the record, with the call, who is Hardwell? Can he contact us right now? That was live on national radio. And I contacted them. And that was my invitation to go to the record company, Digidance. And at that point, they offered me a record deal.
That's insane.
So the first time my record was played on a national radio was like more like a call for me to,
Usually artists want to get on the radio. And this time it was the complete opposite. It was like, we got this record. Who the hell is this kid?
And that was so funny. I was 14 years old, so I called the radio station. So we have Hardwell on the phone. Hardwell, is this you? Yeah, that's me. Like, whoa, are you a kid? Yes, I'm a kid. I'm 14 years old.
14 years old. That's funny, man. That's funny. And what about like your first, do you remember your first gig? Like, do you remember, how did that come about? Like, for example, I remember similar to Revealed, how it came out of a need, my first gigs, I had to put them on myself. Because no one would book me. So I had to literally come up with a concept, come up with a party name, come up with, hire promoters. Like that was the only way that I could do it. How did you go about it? Because on top of it, you were so young. Yeah. You're 14. So how did you go about getting your first gigs? How did you get, I think I heard your parents used to come with you to the clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's even later. Like it started really when I was like 11, 12 years old. I had my first drive-in show. I was just playing the birthday parties of all my friends. Then from that point, it was just mouth on mouth, like how you say?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth. And we just started playing weddings, and we had a proper dancing school in Breda. Like just Latin music, and that's where I DJ'd on the Saturdays.
At a dance school.
At a dance school, so I played like salsa, samba, and that kind of music.
That must have helped you too.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I see to this day is guys that know how to play or have played multiple styles of music are better DJs even on the big stages.
Yeah, well, I used to play like everything from weddings to like proper hip hop parties with only hip hop, R&B music. And I DJ'd later on. I DJ'd at the age of 14. I DJ'd at a small bar in Breda, well known, Café Jansen. I started there, just like the Friday night shifts. And at that point, when I started DJing there, I got my first record deal. And from that record deal, I had a 360 contract, which means that they did my bookings, they did my publishing, they released my records, they took care of everything. And so there were like a lot of clubs contacting the record label. We want to book that new guy, Hardwell. And before I knew, I was playing throughout Holland, like Amsterdam, Rotterdam, everywhere. And
still at a young age.
14.
So how did you get around that? Like, is that how it works in Holland? Like being a guy from North America, are you allowed to go to a club at
No.
14 years old, 15 years old? Okay. So how were you able to pull that off?
My mom and dad joined me for every single show, and they drove me every single show from the age of 14 till I was 18. And I think between the age of 16, 17, 18, I did around like 100, 150, 200 gigs a year. So that was a lot. And the moment I turned 18, I was driving myself with friends, just in the car. And I don't even know if a lot of people realize this nowadays. Like, I got so much DJ experience. I did over 1,500 gigs inside of Holland before I went abroad.
And I would like to say that Holland, to me, is still like the hardest crowd to play for.
It is.
If you can play
honestly
and kill it in Holland, you can kill it anywhere in the world.
It's true. Like, and
to this day, I think it's true.
I don't want to say like the Dutch crowd is spoiled. That's totally not what I'm saying.
I'll say it.
But no, it's not. Like, it's not, because there are so many good DJs from Holland since the very first beginning of, like, since the invention of dance music. Like, when dance music got invented, and we had Tiesto, Armin van Buuren, Ferry Corsten, like all the guys. Holland is so used to all the big DJs.
Yeah.
As a new kid, it's really hard to prove yourself. And it's not because they're spoiled, but they know exactly what quality is. They can,
Yeah, it's not spoiled. Spoiled as in...
it's a negative
like,
word.
Yeah, it's more like you're so lucky.
Yeah, they know what they want to hear.
Exactly, and like the so many DJs and producers are like bred in Holland. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what they're used to.
Exactly. Yeah,
they're used to that insane high quality, and their expectation level stays that high because that's what they're used to.
And it's funny, it reflects on the dance scene nowadays. Look at the DJ Mag. Even like if you look at the list, it's like
1,000,000%.
Like only Dutch people, well, not only Dutch people, like there were more people from Holland than any other country in the world in the list. And same goes, and not even like the DJs, but even like the dance festivals. Before any big festival in the world, in Holland, we had like the biggest and craziest parties. ID&T was throwing Thunderdome back then, which was like the first, the first festival, basically. Dance music festival.
Dance music festival, yeah. Huge. You're 18, you've got past like, your parents having to take you to
the club.
to the clubs, right? And now you're kind, with, for lack of a better word, you're blowing up, right? You're starting to blow up. When was like the first time that you realized like, oh shit, like I'm starting to be known, like I'm borderline famous? Like when, like, was there like, did someone famous want to meet you instead of you want to meet? Like, what was the first time that you were like, this is getting bigger than, not necessarily expected, because you always wanted it for yourself, but like,
like being well known, that was definitely after I became #1 DJ in the world because of all the media attention. But the attention that I really loved, like somebody wants to meet you, that was my big inspiration. I got an email from Tiesto, and he's from Breda as well, the city where I'm born and raised.
Yeah.
And let me think back. This was 10 years ago. So I was like 21. And he emailed me that he really loved my records. But he was one of the reasons why I started in the first place being a DJ. Like, he's always been a big inspiration for me till this day. And he emailed me that he loved my records. He heard my records somewhere, and he was really keen on hearing the new stuff I've been working on. So we emailed back and forth. He started playing all the new stuff I was making, and then he invited me to come and play with him in Ibiza. And at that age of 21, I've never been in Ibiza. So yeah, that was like a really a changing point in my career. And after the meeting in Ibiza, that was the first time I met him. We really connected. We went in the studio together. We made the track 076. And from that point on, he asked me to come with him and open up for him on his tour in America, North America, and in Canada. And
I remember that.
Yeah, and at that point, that was the first time I was playing outside of Holland, like not outside of Holland, but like in America for like a really big crowd. I played in America before and in Canada, but like small shows.
Yeah, smaller shows.
But not like ice stadium, like 20, 30, 40,000 people. And at that point...
Yeah, because he hired you to open like every single one of his gigs.
Yeah.
So if he was booked on a festival, Hardwell was there.
I was there.
Perform. Yeah.
And that was a point in my career, like an eye-opening point in my career. It was like, yo, the music I've been working on is actually working.
It's resonating.
It's resonating. Like the people are reacting to the stuff I'm making. And that tour, I think I went away from home for like a month and a half, which is like by far like the longest time I ever spent from home, like on tour. And on tour, I mean like DJing every single day, like a month and a half, 2 months in a row. And being able to test your records every single night for such a big crowd, it's like the biggest inspiration you can get.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the best test.
It's the best test.
Yeah.
And like during that tour, I made, we had 076. Like then I made Encoded on the tour. I played Encoded a lot. And you can tell after that tour, I went back in the studio. And by the end of the year, this tour was like in the beginning of 2000 and, if I'm not mistaken, I think 12. And by the end of the year, I made Spaceman and Apollo in like, I don't know, like in maybe a month difference. That was like I had so much inspiration back then.
Really, eh? Man, I remember, Spaceman had such an impact on the dance music community. Like nothing like it had ever sounded like it. It was just so genre changing, man. You know?
I still don't know till this day why. Like, yo, I understand.
Oh, come on.
No, I understand the concept of Spaceman.
It's so good. And it's like, there was nothing like it. Like, it's undeniable. Maybe you feel that way because you made it.
No, I'm trying to say that, like, I never went into the studio with the thought of making something next level, something that was working, like something different. It came
naturally.
Like it all of a sudden was there.
Most special records do though.
Yo, Spaceman from beginning till end, without some of the drums, was done in 20 minutes. Like 20 minutes, it was done. Like the melody and the chords came like that, like just a finger snap.
Incredible. That record still to this day, as soon as you hear like just the like, dunk, 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 like. Like you know it's coming, and you're like, oh yeah, I can't believe it, you know?
Yeah, that record was definitely a game changer for me. That was like the song that really resonated for me in especially North America.
So if you, man, I remember like everyone, guys like Calvin Harris were starting their set with
Spaceman.
like not with his own record, like he was starting with Spaceman.
Yeah.
Like on that tip of like first like or important times, like. If you look at like the past decade, you know what? Let's do it in two parts because I'm very interested in this. What are like, let's say, the top 3 things as Hardwell, that like have, been important to you, like our highlights or things that have like really marked you in the past decade, and what are the 3 things that have also been important to you that you see in the past decade before revealed?
Before revealed?
Like, no, not before. Also for revealed. Like, what are the top 3 highlights, let's say, for revealed in the past decade? And what are the top 3, let's say, highlights in your career, your personal career? Let's start with you personally.
Personally, it's fair to say, like, the first time I became number 1 DJ in the world, that was like as a little kid.
Yeah.
It wasn't as necessarily for me that I wanted to become the best DJ in the world or like the most popular DJ. It was for me like Tiesto was my biggest inspiration, and he was known for being
the top dog.
The top dog. And I just wanted to like step in, like follow his footprints.
Yeah.
Which meant becoming the number 1 DJ, and that's something I just wanted to achieve for myself, not necessarily being named the best DJ or like just.
But that's how it became, like the way to dictate the number 1 DJ in the world at that time was that.
Yeah.
So that's something you had to accomplish. Okay.
Yeah. So I accomplished that, and even before that, Second thing where I'm really proud of is that we did our own I Am Hardwell World Tour. Even till this day, like DJs play festivals, DJs do like big tours, but they play clubs. And they get booked by a promoter, etc., etc. No, we did the other way around. We, as in the team from back then, AM Only, Anna Agency, Revealed, Hardwell, Alda included as promoter, we did our own shows. We did like a concert
your own
tour.
shows. Yeah.
Hard ticket sell it concert tours worldwide, two times in a row. First I Am Hardwell, and then after that United We Are, my album world tour. And till this day, like just a couple of DJs did that. And I'm so proud that we did that.
And third one? What do you think?
I think at that point, so it's kind of like I became number one, we did the world tour, that I started my own foundation, United We Are.
Yeah.
And that was a point in my career that I was able to give something back. Yeah. So I gained a lot of following. I became kind of famous as a DJ. I was selling a lot of tickets. And with that being said, I could finally give something back, like on a big scale. Not like, oh, I'm starting my own foundation and let's raise a couple of dollars. No, it was like a proper way to give something back to the world. And we still, till this day, the foundation is still active. And
incredible.
We did the world's biggest guest list in India, because India has a special place in my heart. And I think being there, meeting the people,
they're so appreciative that you did that.
Yeah, throughout the years. When I so we did the first show. Let me explain what's going on in my mind right now. So we did the first show. We raised the money, came back to India, and like a year later, I actually looked the people in the eye, like the kids in the eye that we helped with the foundation. And there was a girl who wrote a letter to me that she actually wanted to commit suicide. And because of the foundation, she was able to go to school, and now she's becoming a doctor. Like she is a bright future because of, I say, a simple show I played. But with that said, with like a simple show, I'm trying to say, like, I was finally able to raise awareness for what was going on. Like, I'm not here to say like I'm gonna change the world, but I was trying to like something that really. I was heartbroken the first time I came to India that like there were so many homeless kids, and I just wanted to give something back, because it felt wrong for me to do a show there and just don't care about what I saw. And
to be in a place in your career where like when you say simple show, it's not that it's a simple show. It's a simple act.
It's a simple act.
Like it's easy for you to do. Like it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, you're putting something together, but it's something that you've experienced doing. Like this is something you do on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So just doing one thing.
Yeah.
Could be so majorly impactful by doing. That's not what that's what I'm trying to explain. It's not simple.
It's not simple, but
the
like
concept is like I do a show, we help people. Like
exactly.
That's what I mean.
And like raise the awareness, and with like, I don't know, man. It was like life changing for me that moment.
Yeah, I'm sure
doing that.
To be in a place like I said in your career where
you give something back, yeah,
incredible. On a personal note, and we'll get to it later, but on a personal note, and as a friend of yours, I could tell you something that I'm very proud of you. I'm proud of you that you decided to stop touring.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think that it was a ballsy move, and I think that it was important for you to do. And for me, as a friend, not just professionally, but as a friend, when you did that and you told me about it, I was almost in tears because I knew that it was the right move, and I knew you were doing it for the right reasons before things got out of hand. And it's not everybody that would have the intuition, the balls, just to pull back.
Yeah,
the way you did. So we'll get to that, but that's just me and my favorite.
Well, thanks for saying that, man.
It's weird. It's like you're not saying goodbye, but it's like who would have thought that you wanting to take care of yourself is something that I would be proud of you to do. Revealed.
Yeah.
Revealed. Talk to me about top some highlights,
Some highlights.
Canadian bus tour. No, I'm kidding.
That was definitely a highlight, man. That was such a sick tour. That tour was amazing. Well, I'm gonna start straight to the point, man. We have our own office since last year.
Yes.
October 2019. We open our
beautiful.
Like it's not even like a label anymore, man. It's more like it's a record company now.
Yeah.
It's so different.
Yeah.
Till this day, I can't even believe we have our own.
It's
office.
like you have corporate offices with a family environment.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
That's
like
basically it.
The walls, the walls don't feel cold here.
No. No. That's not me, man. I don't want to be like a corporate like music thing. Nah. Well, we need to.
But because you can, you have to have that side of it.
Yeah,
but
we have a side.
But because you took a break from touring, again, like you were saying, you were able to, put your footprint on
exactly.
on
focus on different things behind the whole show element.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Yeah. And for Reveal, I think there's so many highlights for Reveal as well. We started doing our own events, selling out the events. I think 2019 was a perfect example of that. Revealed is not even like a face of dance music. It's not even a record company. It's not even a label. It's like a family. Like people are really connected. Even in 2019, when we did the Revealed shows without Hardwell, they sold out. There's people who like dance music in general, like what Revealed is doing.
Loyal to the sound,
not just
loyal to Hardwell, loyal to the sound.
Yeah, and that's what I'm really proud of. Definitely for me, a second highlight that like it's like so like every artist like, I want to thank my fans. Of course, I want to thank my fans. I mean, it's like my second family. I always said that. But even with Revealed, like they're so focused, like so dedicated to Revealed that I couldn't be even more proud. Like this is my baby. Revealed is my baby, and
I know what it means to you too, because like you were talking about, labels like Defected, that had their own sound, had their own imprint that you used to play, used to love, and now
big inspiration, man.
And now you're in the position where it's like, we're like, I went to Ibiza the first time. Yeah, you probably watched a bunch of like Defected Ibiza videos and like, oh my God, I can't wait to be there.
Man,
you're like,
of course.
Like watching guys like Junior Jack and Kid Krem and all those guys, and like, oh man, I can't wait to Bob Sinclair. I can't wait to go to those parties. And now you have done it yourself, but in the more big room. Progressive sound,
Well, dance music is dance music, man. And dance music is really hard to, like, what people don't understand is that dance music, and this is where it went wrong for a lot of commercial dance music records, there is no way to market a dance music song. Like, dance music is a subculture, still is. Like, a big record, a big dance music record starts in the club, never on the radio. It starts in a club by DJs playing it out.
Yeah.
And you're not able to market that, like a DJ has to decide if he's gonna play your record, yes or no. And if a lot of DJs are playing it, that's how you like approach the ravers. And within the whole big rave scene, there are a couple of guys that like, tell their friends, and before the record is big. And I like that. That's who I am. That's what I like the most, I'm trying to say that like there are so many people think that dance music is sometimes like a formula, like how they, what I'm trying to say?
The formula, they, they're like, okay, they're gonna go. They sit in front of their screen and like, I'm gonna make this type of track, and then they build it within a formula.
Exactly.
Of that type of track.
And with that being said, that's why I'm so proud and call Revealed more of a family than a record company. As a label, because we're a label, I think our biggest job is to, take care of the family. And we do that with music, we do it with podcasts, we do that with signing new artists, helping new artists. And I think that's the most important thing that we need to do, take care of the family.
Yeah, speaking of, always being on the hunt for new talent, in the past couple of years, the community, Revealed community, has been an important and integral part of the label discovering new artists.
Yeah.
And now you guys are moving forward again with Revealed Radar.
Yeah.
What can we expect with Revealed Radar? What's going to be the difference? How are we evolving?
Well, it started on the community, We started our own community, which I'm really proud of. Like a lot of new guys are just, on the community, talking to each other, like focusing on new music, uploading the music. I actually included it in Hardwell as well since I think almost a year and a half, 2 years ago, like the top 3 of best community releases.
Yeah.
And now with Revealed Radar, we're even focusing more. It's like it's a different label. Like the radar thing is easy to explain, right? You're on my radar. So
Of course.
we're able to release even more music. It's not about like releasing more music, but we have a bigger team now, and we actually have the time to A&R more, A&R the young kids more, and I think it's a bright step forward. People actually are able to, like, new guys are able to release through the radar thing, and then just build they make progress, and the big goal for them is, I guess, to release on the Revealed main label one day.
Yeah.
And we keep like the main focus on that label. And well, obviously we release a lot of guys on Gemstone as well. And just, it's really fun to work in the music business as a record company and focus on new guys, new music styles, and be a little broad, a little more open-minded than just one genre. And I think even with Revealed Radar, we're able to release different kinds of sounds within dance music.
Speaking of because I debate this all the time with people.
Yeah.
Like, where do you think, talking about the future, new artists, where do you think the future of dance music is going? Like, for example, everybody say, 4 years ago, people were like, oh, Big Room is dead. Big Room is, and man, that shit's still alive and well. Like, where do you think the music itself is going? Not the industry, but the music itself. Where do you think it's going in the next 5 years?
I think dance music in general, it's, the Big Room sound became so big and so well known that obviously it's not dying. It's just like things are switching up all the time. Like, it's the same thing as I could say in an interview, dubstep is dead. It hasn't been as big as since Skrillex did it, like, with a weekly release. No, It's just like things are changing up. That's life. And everything is changing, constantly changing. There are two things. Like, from a producer point of view, it's never been as interesting as it is right now because people are really open-minded. And if you look at lineups worldwide, on main stages, it's so widely programmed. It's like guys that play techno.
It's way broader than
it's ever been before, which means that people are more open-minded. If you look back at my old interviews, I kept saying this for years and years. It's not about one genre. Dance music is about, as you said, if it's danceable, it's danceable.
I agree.
And I think that's where we're heading right now. There's nobody like let's pick the easy thing. Let's pick a Tomorrowland crowd. I think 20% of the people also like reggaeton. Like 20% of the people like deep house. 20% of the people are there to just trap dance music, or like trap, dubstep, rave, like bass house. But they're all standing there in front of one stage. And I think dance music is so widely accepted right now, with so many specific different genres. Nothing is dying. Nothing is getting bigger. There have always been hypes, even in pop music.
Yeah.
The Backstreet Boys sounded different than Ariana Grande these days. Both are pop music. See, things are changing. That's life.
I mean, dude, J Balvin booked at Tomorrowland.
See?
It's a dope show. You know what I mean? It's not a DJ.
So I think like music is more widely accepted than it's ever been. So for the future of dance music, I think it's fair to say that like there are more different genres combined in one style. As a producer, I'm looking for new stuff, like coming up with new sounds, gaining inspiration, not only for like another dance music record, but like just music in general. Like just be open-minded, try something different and try to, make it work for you.
Yeah. Let's talk about that actually. Make it work for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that, because you have a bit more time on your hands, you are kind of reinventing yourself musically. What's Hardwell's dance music future? You know what I mean? Like, where do you think you're going with your productions? Where do you think you're going with your sound? Are you still trying to figure that out? Do you have a clear path? Is it something you don't want to talk about?
No, I definitely want to talk about it. Like, I'm definitely trying to reinvent myself. Well, that's basically one of the reasons why I took more time off, like... as a producer, I always was like really open-minded for different genres. Like if you look back at my releases, I've release so many different kind of tracks, even within dance music, not even like the pop stuff, but like so different kind of genres in dance music, from bleepy Dutch house to big room to more trendy. Even I think my first album, United We Are, was kind of a reflection of that, but like a different kind of genre within dance music.
Yeah, absolutely, that's true.
And right now in the studio, I'm just really focusing on the music that really keeps me going personally, not even like as Hardwell. That's gonna be like my outlet. If I ever decide to release all the stuff I'm working on right now, Hardwell is gonna be my outlet and the way I'm gonna present it to the world. For now, I'm just making
as opposed to you having a purpose to do it.
Exactly.
Okay,
I'm like the music I'm making right now. I'm not thinking about like, oh, if I release this record, then like I need a visual show like that. No, I'm not thinking like that. I'm just making the music that personally I want to hear on a festival.
And its purest form.
In the purest
form. Most
form.
honest, purest. There's no back end thought. And it is all about the music, not about a show, not about a deadline. Nothing.
No, and what I mentioned like in the beginning of this interview, I made a lot of records that I needed to work in my DJ sets. But since I'm not DJing right now, I'm making the music that comes straight out of my heart, and that I want to, like, I want to hear the songs I'm making right now. I want to hear them on a big stage. Like, I want to hear them, and it's not like a specific genre I'm making. I just want to. This is my interpretation of what dance music should sound like.
Without even saying something like, this is what's missing in dance music.
No,
it's literally like, blah. Like, it's literally like just emotion from...
It's emotion, something that like... I've seen so many different stages, so many different arena festivals, everything. And I think at this point in my life, I just used that knowledge that I have to... not even the knowledge, because now it's gonna sound wrong that I'm working on a formula. No, it's just like the opposite. Like everything I'm doing right now is just a feeling. It's a feeling. It's not about, oh, this song needs 3 drops. This song doesn't need.
It's formula-less.
It's exactly.
It's like it'll go wherever it goes.
It goes wherever it goes. Like every song I'm making is like a journey on itself.
Which is what it used to be. You know what I mean?
Used to be like that.
Back in the day, it used to be like that. People used to pride themselves on making 12-minute songs that took you on a journey.
That's the best. That's the best. Just being in the studio, and the only thing I want to do right now in the studio is capture a feeling, an emotion, a feeling, and not like, oh, this is gonna work on a stage or this is not gonna work. No, it's not about if it's gonna work. It's not about how hard the drop hits. It's a feeling, and
like almost forgetting the technical part.
There is no technical part.
It's just, how does it feel, man?
Music is art. There's never been a technical part about art. There is no technical part in art. Art is a feeling. Because if I show like a crazy art piece to you and ask you, what do you feel something completely different than I feel. Or even describe it. You describe something different than...
even what it's worth.
Exactly.
You know, even the value, it's only how you interpret that value of that particular piece, for example.
Let me say this, I wasn't able to make the music that I'm making right now if I was still on tour. Because I was like, I don't want to say I was that tired, but like I was focused on my DJ set. That was my main focus.
Yeah, you had to kill it.
Yeah, and I made the music that worked for me in my DJ sets. And at this point, I'm just me being myself, super relaxed, trying to translate the feeling, the emotion I have inside of me into a dance music song that I want to hear. And what the music that I like. Yeah. And that's what I'm doing right now.
And without feeling expectation.
There's no expectation.
Of the crowd, like, oh, they expect me to do this. There's none of that anymore.
No.
Speaking of feeling, though, I want to talk about this. I'm sure a lot of people do. What, like, how are you feeling? What made you want to take a break? What was, how was it boiling up? When did you decide? I know you're very close with Tim. Did that freak you out? Like, what are the steps that you took and you saw in yourself? You're like, man, I gotta pull away. Was it also that you knew were you listening to your body because you knew that you did this previously when you were younger? Like you had a burnout, you didn't want to get there. What were the steps for you to say, Rob, you gotta calm down. You gotta take care of you now.
Well, definitely that Tim had a big influence in this, but not in a way that like I was not deadly tired. I could have go on for years, like with the same schedule. Like I wasn't deadly tired or something. At the point I released, when the press article got released that I took a sabbatical, I was taking a sabbatical. People were like, "Oh, is he sick? What's going on?" Like, no, nothing of that happened. Like I wasn't burned out, nothing. I was tired of what every DJ is tired after the summer tour.
Like
with
regular stuff.
As
Jet
I said,
lag.
like I could have gone on for like another 10 years with the same schedule. That was not the thing. There were like a couple of things. Like inside of me, there was like, as I just mentioned in the previous conversation, like there was a certain feeling that I wanted to work on something new, like not new, but like there's so much inspiration inside of me that I couldn't express.
You couldn't express at the time.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that really worked the wrong way inside of me. That was boiling up, and I wasn't relaxed anymore. You know, I wanted to focus on my music instead of my DJ career. And at the point I actually stopped DJing, I just wanted to take a break. Like no studio, and I haven't done it actually for almost a year. Like I haven't been in the studio. I just finished up a couple of songs that were already laying around. And you know, when Tim died, for me that was like kind of an eye opener. Like, yo, life is something like it's so. I don't know, man. Like nobody know exactly can I describe what life is.
You only get one, man. You only get one.
And I wanted to make the best out of it, and I think for me at that point, taking some time off, it was like taking some time off. Not that I really needed the time off. For me, it felt like I need to take a step back right now to come back stronger than ever. Sometimes you need to step back to move 2 steps forwards, right?
Of course,
like,
absolutely.
No, that's exactly.
Of course.
That was like the purpose of taking a break. That was the exact purpose of taking a break. It was not like, yo, I'm deadly tired. I'm sick of this. I never want to do this again. No.
I'm sure there's a relief to, a lot of your fans and the people who care about you. You know what I mean? Because it is pretty drastic. There was no lead up to it. It was like, this is how I feel. And doing it like without fear of like alienating anybody. You were like, this is what I need to do for me. Like I've thought of everybody else for a long time. And now I have to really think about myself. But it must be a relief, it must be a relief for the fans to know, like, you're good.
It's a really hard decision, though. It was till this day, it was probably one of the hardest things I've done in my life. It sounds so cliche to say, but it definitely was.
Nah, but cliche is real. That's why they call them cliches most of the times, because it's true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's from every perspective, it's different. Understanding everything, from the fans to your team.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the business is feeding a lot of families.
Yeah.
You stop that, things happen. Like these are all these things that you have to think of. So I'm sure it wasn't easy, but I'm sure it was also a relief to the fans and everybody to know that like it really came from not like a ill perspective or like an unhealthy perspective,
No, it was, I needed that me time to, discover myself again. And, the funny thing is I want to talk about this as well. Like, it's weird that the fans, for some reason, the dance music fans always expect DJs to always be touring. Like, that's weird because no pop artist does this.
None.
Like Justin Bieber just released his new single "Yummy" after 3-4 years after his last tour. That's normal. But when a DJ takes a break longer than 2 months, it's weird. Like people are like, yo, why is he not on the festival? Why is he not releasing any music? So that's weird, like the pressure they put on DJs. It's not normal, man.
Yeah,
like
a bunch of different ways.
It's out of this world.
And a bunch of different, even like production wise, you know what I mean? It's like pop artists. It's like. They use writers. They use producers. They use the best in the business. There's a reason why there's like 20 people on a Beyonce record.
Yeah.
But in
dance music,
the DJ world,
it's me, myself, and I.
Oh my God,
most of the
man,
time.
It's like yeah. But I'm glad that you're feeling good, man. And what do you think I mean, man, I don't want to ask this question. I was going to ask you when.
When?
But I don't want to know when, man.
The honest answer is I don't know. That's the honest answer.
I don't even, like, in thinking about it, like, I don't want to know when. What's more important is that when you do it, I know you're going to be just as smart as when you took time off, and you're going to come back with more impact, and you're going to time it properly. So I don't want to ask when. I don't want to put that pressure on you.
I'm working on like a lot of music right now, and I'm getting more satisfied every single day when I come back to the studio. Like I'm not aiming for a certain direction. I'm just like honestly really happy with the music that I'm making right now, and it's getting better every day. I'm getting more satisfied every single day, and I'm getting more satisfaction out of it every single day. So at a certain point when I have like, I don't know, a couple of songs laying around, like whatever, 20, 30 songs laying around, and I have that feeling, because that's the feeling as a DJ that everybody like. And I said this phrase a lot in interviews, like I want to get that butterflies in my stomach before I get on stage, but I want to get them right now in the studio. So I finish up, let's say, a comeback album or whatever you want to call it later on, and have the butterflies in my stomach in the studio, like, oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to play this right now. Oh my God, yeah.
And that's like, it's a natural feeling. And the moment I get that feeling, like that I don't know, man, that crazy excitement, I will be back right away.
I'm super happy we did this, man. Like, this is really cool. I think it's dope that I will happen to be here to be able to do this together. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I got to visit the studios, and it's beautiful here, man. Congratulations again.
Thank you, brother.
And thanks for letting me be a part of episode 2.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, man, of course.